The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to the People's View.
Hello, I'm Carl Seidel, host of the People's View. The show is sponsored by the Nashua City Republican Committee, and if you like to attend our meetings, they're the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 at the Crown Plaza. And if you want to find out more about our organization, you can go to nashuagop.org to see our website and learn about the events that we have. Hello, and help me welcome Mike Broderick, who's running for mayor. Mike, how's your campaign going?
It's going well. I have a lot of grassroots people, you know. We're first time in the political arena. As you know, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman, and we've been doing a lot of things, grassroots, that I think some of the other candidates are following. So it's kind of a compliment, I think, to do that, you know. And but it's interesting. It's a lot of work, you know. Which
knocking on a lot of doors?
Knocking on a lot of doors. Actually, that's the best part of the whole campaign, is going to talk to people and find out what they want. I walked around with a friend of mine's mother who was 75 in a neighborhood, 2 hours, 14 doors, you know, but it was engaging the people, asking them what they want, what their interests are, what their concerns of the city. And really, that's what it should be all about. It's about the citizens in the city. So, and I get a lot of good feedback, a lot of ideas, a lot of wish lists, what the people want. You know, some people want a pool down by Sunset. Others want a free doggy park, you know, and of course everything costs money, and that's the bottom line. But, you know, that's what they're looking for, especially the people down off of South Main Street. You know, they were concerned about the pools. You know, there's no pool. They have to go. One gentleman has 3 small children under the age of 6. So, you know, it's quite a task to put them in the car, and I'm sure we've all been there when we have to pack up the baby things and take them out, you know. So, but, you know, I said, well, we can look into it, you know, and don't make any promises, because you can't make promises till you know what you have to spend. And so I've been going to concerts and Riverwalk Cafe, and listened to some very good blues people on Thursday nights. It was excellent. Met a lot of people there, and I've went to the French Festival, and been at Greeley Park a number of times, the Silver Knights game, and walking around. You know.
Well, what are they concerned about anything, or would they want something different, or what's the biggest thing that you've been hearing about?
Well, the biggest thing I hear when I say I'm not a politician, I've never run for office before, they go, "Oh, that's what we need." So, no offense, but I think a lot of the people in the city, you know, they've been here for a long time. You know, a lot of the candidates have been politicians for a long time, and I asked the people, well, this is what we have right now. We have high taxes, you know, our roads are deplorable, and those are some of the concerns. And the seniors, you know, fixed income, I'm very concerned about them. Actually going to be a senior citizen in the next month or so. But, you know, they're on fixed incomes, and if the budget goes up 1.5 or 2 point, whatever it may go up, and their CPI is 1, they lose this. They're under the gun already. So I think it's important to keep them in the city. I hear that a lot, and you know, there's a lot about the businesses downtown. You know, a lot of the business people are concerned about, you know, all the empty stores, people leaving, and with Alex's leaving. So I've got to talk to a number of business people down there, and they have some great ideas of what they would like to see to help, you know, energize downtown area.
What kind of things are there?
Well, like to say, maybe put a bridal shop in there, you know, to bring the women downtown, or a superette, so, you know, so people don't have to walk down to Shaw's, which is down on Main Street, or drive up, because it's an we're an urban community, especially downtown, so a lot of people would want to walk to the store. So, you know, there's also could be maybe like a smaller version of a Barnes & Noble, a coffee house to bring people downstairs, not to compete with the Riverwalk, but, you know, a bookstore. And, you know, I think Kino's now legal in the state, you know. So, I mean, but they're not just empty stores on Main Street. They're empty stores on the side streets, too. And they're also part of the downtown business community. So I think we need to look at that. And they have some really good ideas, you know, about what they want to see, and, you know, what their issues are and what their problems are. Some are permits. You know, it takes a long time to get a building permit. You know, and there was a gentleman who has opened a place, and he had to put in. He doesn't serve food. They do wine tastings, and he had to put in two coolers, one a lower one and a high one, and it cost him $10,000. You know, so there's no small children going to the place. So you know, so I think we need to be a little more flexible and to engage businesses to come.
So you think by having more feedback from the different people, and maybe you can modify some of the processes that they have to go through.
Yeah, I mean, we do the stroll in the winter. Why don't we do, one of them suggested, and we had thought about, my campaign staff had thought about this, also about doing some things in the summer. You know, years ago, they used to close off the streets, you know? I mean, like a block party, you know? So, I mean, we should, you know, a lot of the ideas, just because they're old, doesn't mean they're not viable, you know, to bring people out downtown, you know? Amherst Street, there's businesses are thriving off of Amherst Street. They're building buildings, and new businesses are going in there. It's downtown, so we need something to draw the people downtown. I mean, we have a lot of great restaurants. I mean, when I moved here, there weren't that many, you know. And I like.
Portillo's just opened up. And got to try that one out.
Well, I've eaten there in Manchester many years ago, but I go to a number of different restaurants in town, so as you can tell. So it's good food. So it's a great environment. It's nice that they can, I noticed the city got the sidewalk done before they opened up, so they put the tables outside. So, I mean, that's a good thing, you know. So.
Do you think Broad Street extension is going to help out, or that?
Well, my office is right at 1 Chester Street, so I probably won't be there after January. I'll be at City Hall, but yeah, I think it's going to cut down the traffic. I think it will be good, and of course, the mill yard is a big area where we could look to have private investors, you know, build businesses downtown, you know, and so how would they get from the mill yard down to downtown? So maybe we could give a free transit from there to downtown to help the people, because it's, you know, parking issues. They could park in the garage and have that be free to go one point to the other. As opposed to having them paid, have the transit system, you know, help the people, you know, get back and forth downtown. Because the mill yard, it would be a little bit of a walk, you know, to go there to downtown. But you know, it's. I think it's really important to have private enterprise, you know. You know, I'm all for an arts center, but it has to be privately funded, you know. I just think that we have enough burden on the citizens and taxes, you know. I think we need to look at other avenues or ways to be proactive and actually have an energetic economic development director, you know, who has some foresight, has some vision. I think that's what the city needs. So.
How would you tie, you know, the town is a little bit segmented, I guess you might say. You have the Broad Street area and downtown. You have the developments over by the Hudson Bridge there. You have Pheasant Lane. You have the Spitbrook area, and you have Amherst Street. So you have an idea that these things should be tied together a little bit better?
Well, I think I would engage probably some of the larger establishments that businesses in those areas you spoke about to see if they could open up a smaller version or something, you know, that draws a lot of traffic, you know, or people. For example, maybe we could engage, like the Superette idea, engage Market Basket Hannibal to open up a smaller Superette, a version of what they have, but a smaller version for the convenience of the people downtown. I think it would do well. I think there are a lot of other, you know, people want to go to the malls today. You know, it's just how you know, things have changed in our lifetime. So we have to come up with some fresh ideas. You know, maybe bring back some of the things we used to do. You know, like I said, I think maybe some free concerts, and not necessarily downtown. I mean, at Greeley Park, but maybe close off the streets and you know, bring some choirs in. Maybe the people I met them pastor from the Baptist Church, and engage him maybe to bring his choir in to sing, and get some young local bands who want to donate their time to, and maybe some comics. And so, like they do a lot of things in front of the library, which are great. I went to one of those concerts, the Latino concert. Was great, you know, but it's it needs to be promoted more. You You know, people aren't aware of that.
Do you want to promote just downtown, or do you want to promote the different areas?
Oh, I think we should promote business throughout the city. I mean, it's just that everyone's focusing on downtown because of the sidewalks, you
Right.
know, and the business is closing. So you may see, when you drive up Amherst Street, you don't see that many empty buildings. You go to the Pheasant Lane Mall, you don't see that many empty buildings. So you see empty buildings downtown. So I think the focus initially has to be on that, but you can't ignore the other businesses that contribute to our tax base in the city. I think that's important. I think you have to be inclusive with everyone, you know, and make sure that they're all, you know, if you have a business that might be competing with someone, you know, make sure that it's equitable, fair. I think that's important.
Well, do you see some problems with what's happening in this city that have to be taken care of differently?
Well, definitely there's a heroin problem. I think I wrote that in my article. You know, I believe I spoke either on a radio show or on Senator Avard's show, and I know Mr. Williams had it in his article about the Gloucester program, the Angel program in Gloucester. I think that's a great idea. I think that's heroin's addictive. And it's so popular because the cost is so cheap. It's less expensive than marijuana and all these other drugs. So that's why the kids are using it today, because it's inexpensive to use, but the ramifications of it are just horrific. So education is of vital sense. I know the mayor, I mentioned in the piece about having something similar that Merrimack did, you know. I think we need to increase the police force. I did talk to the chief, and he would like 6 more officers. Everything's about dollars, though. But I would offer 2 or 3 more officers to help combat that. That's what, it's a multiple problem that we face here. The heroin problem, okay, the businesses downtown, and the safety issue in the city going downtown. So I think the increased police presence would actually help that, and that would, I think, relieve a lot of the frustrations that business owners have downtown. They're concerned about the homeless people, you know, but generally speaking, they don't really attack anyone. They're just, you know, my wife and I walked through years ago with when we did the Veterans Victory concert. You know, we walked through down by the river and saw where the homeless live. It's very sad, but it's like you can't lead a horse to water and make them drink. If they want, a lot of the people who are, a lot of the homeless are true veterans also. But you know, there is, if they want help, they'll take it, but you have to get them to want the help. And that, I think, is the biggest issue with the homeless people. They don't want to go to the programs that are available to them, you know. So I think reaching out to them and trying to make them understand that it's not a problem that we want to help you, you know. They're all very proud people, you know, they are. So I think you have to keep that in consideration. So I think that's something that's important about downtown. And so I think if we can bring the community together, you know. I mean, I was walking over in the Spanish community. So we've never seen a mayoral candidate down here. You know, I said, well, you have a voice too. You know, your voice needs to be heard. So, you know, I want to listen to what you say. It's not about me. I'm not running for me. I'm running because I want to do things for the citizens, what they want, you know, and be stop the nepotism. And stop the backroom deals, you know, and just be honest and have integrity and do the right thing. You know, there's good and bad on both sides. You know, I think you have to listen to both sides, you know, and sometimes one side has to give, the other side will give the next time. I think I'm very good at bringing people together and making it work. I think that I think the superintendents, I had asked actually the former mayor when I hosted the show here to have the superintendents on the show, and she regretfully declined. But I think that was something to be important to have the superintendents come on a show like yours or one of the shows on a local radio, a TV station here, and didn't say I meant radio, I meant TV, and talk to them about what's going on in their department, the Park and Rec, or the Water Department, or the DPW, and have them talking. So, because people, you know, only see what they read in the paper, but I think if you can talk to someone, they get a better feel of what this superintendent is doing for our citizens. So I think that's important, and let them speak, because right now they're not allowed to speak. So I think that's
so you would do it a little bit differently. You'd encourage them to participate this way. Tell them about their job, what they're doing, what their plans are,
what they see in the future,
how people can get in touch with them if they have some questions.
You know, I mean, we work for them. We work for the citizens, you know. Just because they report to the corner office doesn't mean that they worked indirectly through the mayor's office for the city, and I think that's important to let the people know. I think the police should smile. Okay, I would really engage the chief to say, because when I'm holding signs, I wave to them. Some wave, some don't. I understand that. They want to be political, but a smile. Okay, it would actually change the persona of who they are. They're not there to intimidate. They're here to keep crime down, but they also should be our friend to help and assist us, and they do. But I think smile. It's funny when you hold signs. So on the street, I'm sure you've experienced that. We hold signs out there, and you hold signs like this. If you smile, they smile back at you. So it's not. It doesn't hurt anything to go like this. It doesn't hurt, and it's a nice thing, a nice gesture to do. It's warm and it's inviting, and sure they have a really tough job. I'm not casting any aspersions on that, but a smile doesn't hurt anything.
That's right.
So those are some things I think if we change of how people see people who work for the city, for the citizens, okay, and just make it. I think a good work environment creates a better workforce. I really do think that. So, and that's what I would engage with all the different departments in the city. You're not going to look over your shoulder worrying about your job. Truly, I'm an ex-union steward, in IBEW 2222 in New England Telephone many years ago. So I've been on this side of the fence, and I had the most radical garage in the union. I walked in one day and said, "Oh, Mike, you're our shop steward." I go, "I didn't run for that." So they just put me in there. So I guess maybe I am a leader, but, and I have my own business. So there's two sides to every issue.
There's a lot of non-profit organizations in the city. I was amazed at the number, and they seem to get together. How would you use them to pursue some of this improvement with the people and letting them know what's available to them?
Well, I think there's a number of different ways to do that. First, go meet with them. I was actually invited to go to Meals on Wheels, division of St. Joseph's, and see what they do for citizens. It depends upon what the nonprofit does. I mean, what is their area of expertise, and how can we use that in different parts of the city? You see, I know panhandling is a big issue in the city, but we have food pantries, and so a couple of them, and but you don't always see them at the food pantries, So you have to ask yourself a question. That's an issue. To me, that's an issue that's really dividing the city, because whether it's on panhandling or safety, just like the Legacy Playground when they first started that process, that divided the city. Yeah. Okay, and it was handled poorly, in my opinion.
So the mayor has to be the one that sort of warms everybody up and gets them to work together.
I think you need to walk. The mayor needs to walk through the downtown through the tree streets, and be visible and seen, not at ribbon cutting ceremonies. I know that's part of the job too, but to go out and see the people. Once you're in office, okay, you don't disappear. You have to go out because things change. Yeah. Different circumstances arise as we go through the years, and you have to see what they want to do, and know that they have a voice, and you can reach out to them, and they can reach out to the city to help them, whether it's the tree streets, or whether it's up on Indian Rock Road, or whether it's in Chapel Hill, or whether it's on Salt. It doesn't matter where it is. They should be seen, and go to events, just that happen. Just because you're running for office, you don't go to events and stop going to events, okay, when you become an elected official.
Would it be something to have little, I don't know what you call them, get-togethers in the different areas where it's very informal, some
absolutely
Saturday afternoon or something like that.
Or go to the barbershops,
Oh, well.
The barbershops down on by the tree streets in the Spanish section, they're packed. Go down there and on a Saturday or Sunday and talk to them and see what they're doing. Not that they're open Sunday, but go to some of these places that serve breakfast. They're pretty well popularized. Even at the airport. That's a Riverside. I mean, there are tons of them. There are Nortons. There are tons of them. I'm excuse me if I'm not mentioning all the small restaurants in the city, but, you know, I mean, go have a cup of coffee, have breakfast with them and be seen and find out what they want, you know, what do they like about the budget, what they don't like about the budget. Do they know what the budget does? Talk to them about what you can do in the city. You know, I think we have enough revenue. I think it's just the spending needs to be redirected in a proper way. So
you have to evaluate too. Is the money being spent well?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, if it's not, why cancel the program or modify it to get the result that you're looking for?
I've said in previous interviews that, you know, the budget comes out in March.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you have $100,000 left in your budget. Well, the departments, they spend it. Okay, doesn't mean they need to. Okay, but they spend it because how the city does their budget, in my opinion, is totally wrong. Okay, they base it on last year's numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, they shouldn't. Some departments might need more, some might need less. But you have to look at what they're doing. And in the last 3 months, you know, put some sort of restraint on their spending and say, you know, we could carry this over to this. Maybe that's where we can find the money to put 2 or 3 more police on the streets, you know, or supply, increase some programs, you know, that are underfunded and, you know, some that aren't actually working, you know. So I think that's an important job. I've done budgets before, and you don't base it on last year's numbers. You look at what everything does, and you come up with your numbers that way.
You have some ideas waiting in this, you know.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. I don't want to throw them out yet, so, but no, they'll all steal them from me. But I have some ideas about how to, you know, through attrition, you know, create a better workforce, you know, and a more efficient workforce. And you know, I'm all for the unions. You know, I've worked there for a number of years in the phone companies in a union environment. So my dad was a union guy in the CWA, so you know I have all that knowledge and experience of what they do. Background. You know, and I think that there's need to be some give and take on both sides. You know, so and that's what negotiation's about.
What about the education area? Do you have any feedback from the people you've talked to about the education?
Yeah, most of them actually. I visited Ledge Street, and it was funny because there were 4 honor students who were going into the middle school next year. They took me around. It was the end of the year, the last week of school, so I knew they were taking things down. But they're explaining all the little items in the different hallways and classrooms. And the young girl, we go into the library, and she says, "Well, this is the library, you know. It's like when you sell a house. This is the kitchen. This is the bedroom." It's kind of funny. So I said, you know, a little boy walked into the library and said, "Could I have a bowl of soup?" And the librarian said, "This is a library." So the little boy goes, "Could I have a bowl of soup?" So the girl laughed, and it was kind of funny. We kind of entertained him. I told him I would give him. They have a little garden out the back. You know, I know I'm digressing about the question here. And so I have some cactus that grows all year round. You know, that survives for the winter, has little yellow flowers. I'll bring some down in the fall, and you can plant it and you know have it in the yard. Okay, so but I think, and that's an inner city school, and their scores are going up. So I think the only recourse the mayor has is the money that we give them. The school board has all the controls over that, how they spend their money and what they do. But I think it would be important to sit down with the school board and see where they're spending their money. You know, there are some avenues where I would make some suggestions to change, but that's not up to us. That's up to you know. And I'm not and I said this 2 years ago at the budget meeting. I would not keep Mr. Conrad. He's a nice man, but he is not an educator. I think we need an educator as a superintendent. That's just my opinion. Because 2 years ago, our math and science scores were the lowest in the state. So where are we spending, which is 56% of our budget, you know? Yeah. So where are we failing, you know? And they also have, I forget the terminology they use, where these schools don't have programs, so the parents opt out to go to a different school, you know? Why aren't
so
they?
You think school choice is a big thing that they'd like to?
Yeah, I think the parents like that because you know not everyone's going to be a political science major or a math teacher or you know,
or even the type of teaching affects some of the children. Whether it's open or whether it's very structured, you know, some kids learn one way and some kids learn another way.
And I think the schools generally do a pretty good job on that, but I think I met a lot of people walking through the city that would not send their kids to middle school here because they weren't happy with the education there. I don't know what they do there. I haven't really got into that yet. But one woman says, "Oh, I send took my daughter, sent her to a private school because, you know."
Well, you have the charter schools, which really are under the structure of the public schools, and you have the private schools or the religious schools or what have you. But they don't seem to communicate well amongst them.
Well, I think because one's union, one's not, number one. Okay, there you go with that. But I mean, the cost to educate a child in the city in the public school is $14,000, and the child school is around $5,000, and the private school is probably $5,000. You know, so and I know I'm not naive to think that they don't have more overhead than we do, but that's a $9,000 difference, okay, per student. So why? I guess I would ask the school board to answer that question. Why is that? You know, that's their job. It wouldn't be the mayor's job, but engage them and do it in a nice way so that they're working to better the education for our children in the city. I think that's important. So.
Yeah, and you know, if we're losing pupils in the public school, maybe some of those buildings could be used for charter or private schools.
Yeah, I mean, we built the second high school because, what, 10, 12 years ago, I forget how long, and I think our student population has dropped. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think it's dropped. So I think that's something they should look at also, is trying to consolidate certain buildings and cut down on some of the overhead, their expenses that incurred by running a full-blown school. I'm not saying close the school. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying let's look at it and examine it and see what can be done to use money that we give them. Why do it in a more efficient manner? Yeah, being a little innovative. Well, Mike, thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate your time and your ideas, and I hope you do well in your primary. It's only 7 weeks away, and when we go back to the final two, maybe we'll have you back again. You will. I'll see you then. Okay. Thank you for having me on. Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.